Time for an oil change? Head to Jiffy Lube. We've got you covered. We've also got you covered when it comes to oil changes, thanks to Pennzoil Synthetic Motor Oil, getting you back on the road in a jiffy. Jiffy Lube. Leave worry behind.
Welcome to the end of another highly questionable week. This fool over here who called this a yellow shirt is Mina Kimes. My father corrected her and said it's mustard. It's not yellow, you fool. Mina, what do you like on the show today?
It's Friday. We've got Wimbledon. We've got the World Cup. So, of course, we're going to talk about the Super Bowl.
Oh, no. Dale, papi. Football dork in the house.
Would it be a smart move for the Raptors to blow up their court to rent Kawhi for a year?
Kawhi is his name. He continues to call him Kawhi. The Raptors, you don't trust them at all. The Raptors disintegrated in the postseason to a team we now know in Cleveland wasn't actually that good, and anyone would endorse this in the name of the East being better. But here's why you do it beyond the obvious reasons. You can't have Philadelphia and Boston getting him and then getting better than they already are. You might not even catch Boston and Philadelphia without him, but you get him, you keep him away from them, and then you got a better chance to win the East.
Yeah, I see why Toronto would shoot their shot here, especially with LeBron gone. It does feel like the East is wide open, and they clearly have to do something and change their roster in some way. However, I'm not sure that change should entail mortgaging their entire future for a shot at 1 year with Kawhi, because it really could be only 1 year. Paul George's decision to stay in Oklahoma City has all these small market teams convinced that they can convince stars to stay there too. But Paul George is not Kawhi. He's easier to read, and not just because when he opens his mouth, words come out. Nobody really knows what Kawhi thinks or wants, and I'm not convinced that the Raptors can figure that out in a year.
Here's the thing, though, about what she's saying is the risk that you're afraid of. Mortgaging what future? They're not good enough. DeRozan and Kyle Lowry by themselves are not good enough. You need a player that's better than either one of them. Kawhi's that.
Speaking of DeRozan, part of the reason this rumor is taking off today is he recently deleted his entire Instagram, which NBA players are so emo. Like, he deleted every picture of himself in a Raptors jersey just because he might have heard there's a chance he's going to get traded for Kawhi.
Hey, Kawhi, let me show you something. See this?
Oh, there
all
it is.
years.
Oh, Kawhi.
My car,
wow.
my apartment, you know.
Wow.
I got a nice place, a nice car here for you. You come down here, you got sunshine all year round. You can be laying on the beach in November, December, January, February, you know. You want to go to Toronto? Are you kidding me?
Are you joking?
Are you joking? You know, I mean, the snow you're going to get down there, and then you're going to lose at the end of it anyhow. That's right. At least you got fun down here.
You could get sunshine and losing. What?
Is the Hall of Fame being petty by choosing to ignore T.O.?
Okay, so they are going to announce the Hall of Famers in a celebration of Hall of Famers. Terrell Owens is a Hall of Famer, but because he has said, I'm not going to the ceremony, they're doing what football does when coaches have injured players. I'm only going to talk about who's here. So they are ignoring Terrell Owens. And how's that for a symbol for how they do business around there? Because Terrell Owens, by anyone's definition, is the top 3 receiver in the history of the league. It took him too long to get into that Hall of Fame, and now that he's saying he doesn't want to go to this ceremony, at least in part because of how these people judge him, this is how they react in the most Hall of Fame way possible.
As a fan of T.O.'s game and as a fan of entertaining petty speeches, I wanted him to go. I don't particularly care that he didn't, and yeah, it was a little petty, but this I actually think is pettier. Not just because they're clearly trying to one-up him. Well, if you don't like us, we don't like you either. But also because their reason for doing so is that they don't want to draw attention away from the players who are in. But they're making his absence even more conspicuous by not even mentioning his name. Terrell Owens won this round.
You know, then you go to the Hall of Fame and you cannot find his bust. You look around for his bust, you cannot find his bust. But when you go into the men's room and you go to
it's in the men's room.
That's right, and the toilet right on top of the toilet. There it is. That's right.
That's how they're going to punctuate all this, just like that.
Is Isaiah Thomas making a smart move by signing for the minimum?
I feel legitimately bad for Isaiah Thomas. At the end of the season, before he got hurt, he was walking around with Brinks trucks on his flip-flops because he knew he was about to get paid. And since then, he's probably lost about $100 million or more. He was going to be a max player. Now the injuries have derailed him. This is absolutely the play, to go to the obscurity of Denver, to show people that you're betting on yourself and your ability to score in a place that knows how to score. 1 year, $2 million. You're going to bet on yourself and prove that you could get the bigger contract later.
Yeah, we don't know if it's the smartest move. It could have been the only move. I think there's probably a chance he could have gotten a multi-year contract for a little bit more money on probably a worse team. But as Dan said, he is betting on himself with this 1-year deal, and he is doing it with a pretty good team. Like, if the Nuggets were in the East, they'd probably be a 3rd or 4th seed. They have a great offense. They really only have one true point guard in Jamal Murray. And he's probably going to run the second unit. Could be a candidate for 6th man of the year if everything goes right. So kudos for Isaiah Thomas for betting on yourself. I hope it works out because this has been a really sad story. It'd be nice to see it turn around.
Do you think that Isaiah Thomas appreciates something like kudos? Do we know what kudos is exactly that she is giving Isaiah Thomas? Kudos. Here, Isaiah Thomas, you lost $100 million, but here's some Mina Kimes kudos.
What is, that's the right question. Are you here for
Ben McAdoo throwing shade at the Eagles in China?
agree? You mean, or what? Is that what it is?
It's like a slangy way of saying that, yeah.
All right. Are you here for Ben McAdoo throwing shade at the Eagles and the Giants?
I really hope all of that was on air, where we explained to my father what throwing shade is, a 74-year-old Cuban man. So here's what you've got Ben McAdoo saying. Ben McAdoo was a punchline when he was the coach of the Giants. He's now unemployed, and he is saying stuff that the Eagles are not going to win the title because they just don't have it in them. I don't know what that means exactly. That Washington is Washington. I'm not sure what that means either. But what does it mean when he takes out everybody in the division? It means Ben McAdoo unleashed is something that we're all here for, because I want to hear one coach somewhere in the media landscape actually willing to say things.
Yeah, Ben, I'd like to let you know, I talked to the folks at First Take. Your application has been processed. They are strongly considering you. Just sit tight. It's in good shape. Am I here for Ben McAdoo throwing shade? Obviously, because as Dan just said, when coaches leave the NFL, they don't usually take shots at the NFL because they want to get back into the NFL. Meanwhile, you've got Ben McAdoo throwing grenades at every team in his division. Now, I don't agree with a lot of he said. He also said Josh Allen was the best rookie quarterback. The bit about the Eagles not repeating the Giants being the best team, not true at all. But I'm glad he said it.
Hey, Ben, that's okay. You keep talking, you keep saying things, you know. I don't think that you're going to get another job in football again. That's all.
That's right. Yeah, my father's so right about that. He can say whatever he wants. What difference does it make? Nobody's going to hire him either way.
Do you like Tony Romo picking a Jaguar versus Packers Super Bowl in July?
I do not know exactly where the bottom rung of the sports entertainment ladder is, but it's probably pretty close to Super Bowl predictions in July. Let's check in here with Tony Romo and hear what he has to say about who's going to be in the Super Bowl when games are played.
If I was picking right now, I'd probably go with Green Bay versus Jacksonville. I think that would be just a tentative, rough guess here in the summer months.
A tentative, rough guess that's going to be refined over the coming months, and no one's going to remember many months after that or many minutes after you've turned off your television. But there it is, ladies and gentlemen, ESPN filling content by telling you who Tony Romo thinks for the moment might win the Super Bowl.
I am so glad we're talking about this now. As far as Jaguars-Packers, if you had asked me a couple of years ago, I probably would have scoffed. Now, I actually think the Jaguars might be the better side of that pick. They have arguably the best or second best defense in the NFL. They almost made it to the Super Bowl. They were 1 quarter away. Miles Jack never touched the ground, by the way. Shout out to Duval. Meanwhile, the Packers are in a much tougher conference. I actually think the Saints, the Vikings, the Rams, the Eagles probably have a better shot at them, even though they've got Aaron Rodgers. See, that was a solid minute, and I loved it.
She does love talking about that stuff, but one of her sentences was a little bit short. She said the Jags were a quarter away. It's a quarter back.
This is really good.
Thank you.
It's actually really good.
I don't get it.
They were 1 quarter back away.
All right.
Blake Bortles.
Oh, okay.
Quarter back
away. Coming up next on Highly Questionable.
It's going to end up being 13 pitches in all, and they're... Oh! He was so close to ending that inning.
Oh, the futility.
And then more pitches.
A lot of pitches.
More pitches, and then...
Yeah, this is going to take a while.
Yeah.
Her nickname is Special K.
Yeah.
If you're 9 years old and you've got a nickname like that, you can do that.
Oh!
My Son's TV show is brought to you by America's biopharmaceutical companies. Go Botley!
Ow. Yep, you guessed it. I'm a speed bump, so I've got one job. I slow you down. So imagine how I feel about Geico, who does way more. Like, not only could they save you money on car insurance, but they've been around for over 75 years, giving people fast and friendly claim service. Ow. Plus, they got a nifty mobile app that gives you 24/7 access. Ow. Just doing my job, buddy.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Ooh, that pizza is hitting me.
Time to play the game that has something dastardly planned for this Friday the 13th. Do you question?
You give us topics and events, we question.
I was about to do sí or no because I got confused because Mina was muttering under her breath, if you might not have heard it, that pizza really got me, I just ate.
Do you question if this is Justin Smoke's fault?
Justin Smoke plays for the Blue Jays. They were playing the Red Sox, and the Red Sox have the best record in baseball. And there was an at-bat with a whole bunch of foul balls in it. Mookie Betts is at the plate. You got bases loaded. It's going to end up being 13 pitches in all, and they're... Oh! He was so close to ending that inning.
Oh, the futility.
And then more pitches.
A lot of pitches.
More pitches, and then...
Yeah, this is going to take a while.
Yeah, but at the end of it, is Justin Smoke going to be at fault?
We're going to watch them all.
Yes, we are. We're going to watch all of them, and
this is it.
And there it is. And there it is, right when it becomes Justin Smoke's fault, right there, when the ball is hit 7,000 feet because you didn't catch a pop-up.
I don't know if I've ever seen a grand slam on the 13th pitch. That's pretty impressive. Right? That's not that common.
That is correct.
Yeah,
that is
I'm not
correct.
an idiot, right? That's like a very uncommon feat.
Yes.
Okay.
That's all you got?
I mean, right. It wasn't great analysis. That's pretty hard. I've never seen one of those before. I mean...
Do you question if these varsity basketball players should be embarrassed?
All right, we could celebrate someone like 9-year-old Kalina Smith, but no, what we will do is instead wonder whether the girl she smokes should be embarrassed because they're on the varsity and she's 9 years old.
Her nickname is Special K.
Yeah.
If you're 9 years old and you've got a nickname like that, you can do that.
Oh, with the shimmy, the Antoine Walker shoulder shake that absolutely needs to be brought back.
Oh, my God.
And
boom.
That is also footage of Isaiah Thomas's first game as a Nugget.
I like to shimmy.
Oh, so do I, though. Actually, you know what? So do I. I'm not afraid to say it. I've got a long history of shimmying on ESPN. Shimmying is fun. You should shimmy. You really should. That's my father. My father brings it from the hip. It's sensual.
Do you question if he played this off well?
We are a family of dog lovers around here. Everybody here loves the dogs, and there was a dog that kept escaping. And so, did he play this off well as the owner tried to figure out, how is my dog escaping again and again?
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Caught you. Caught you. Caught you. Yes, look at this. This is how you've been escaping. What are you doing? Oh, stunned! Caught! I used to do this as a fugitive. Let me go right back here. She never saw me.
You know, that was pretty clever. But I have seen more clever.
No, she's foisting her dog Lenny upon us, isn't she? Oh, not again with Mina's dog Lenny. She's been foisting him upon us all week.
What a good boy!
No, that's not a good boy. It's just a boy with an itch on his back.
Oh, look at my good boy.
What good boy?
Look at his tongue.
No, he's just running.
Oh,
That's
what a
not
vertical.
good. That's not
what
good.
a leap.
What?
Oh.
There wasn't a single trick in there. It was just Lenny being a dog named Lenny.
He rolled over in in the beginning.
He didn't do anything. Well, how did he get on the show? Why is Mina's dog on the show? What am I missing? I don't like Lenny. Never have.
Coming up next on my son's TV show.
Hey, how does it feel to know that when you go to sleep at night, you're sleeping beside one of the greatest athletes of all time? One of?
Never, ever known how to make pastrami. Working that grinder was very hard. You needed big guns. Well, I felt his big guns.
I want to take you for your first slurp of ramen.
Slurp?
Slurp, 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 slurp.
Euphoria. Noodle euphoria. We love to flirt, but we're harmless.
Before you hit the road for any vacation this summer, visit GNC. You need to stay healthy, and GNC has the highest quality solutions and supplements in the industry. GNC brand products pass up to 150 quality checks. You can be sure you're getting the best prices with GNC's price match guarantee. GNC doesn't just match prices, they beat them by $1. Or try something new. If it's not right for you, return it for a full refund. You heard it right, a full refund. This summer, live well with GNC. Exclusions apply. See an associate or GNC.com for details.
My son's TV show is brought to you by Wendy's new $1 Buffalo Ranch Crispy Chicken Sandwich for a limited time at participating Wendy's.
My father loves Wendy's.
Especially the chili.
Especially the chili. A little bonus plug for you, Wendy's.
A little cheese on it.
Yeah, that's
sprinkle
right.
cheese, some crackers.
And then they gave you a loaded potato.
Loaded baked potato.
Love that.
Thank you, Wendy's.
Time to play the game that thinks fries are a uniquely versatile side dish. See? Or no?
You tell us what to watch on television. He loves French fries.
Saturday morning on ESPN, the women's Wimbledon final, Serena Williams versus Angelique Kerber.
Serena Williams still doing it, coming off of pregnancy, had a terrible ranking, and here she is again, as she always is. Here's a tweet that was sent about Serena Williams to the husband of Serena Williams and asking Alexis Ohanian Sr., hey, how does it feel to know that when you go to sleep at night, you're sleeping beside one of the greatest athletes of all time? One of, he says. Mina, are you intrigued?
Of course, I'm intrigued. There's not really much to say about Serena Williams at this point. He's right. She is the best, and somehow she got even better. I don't really have much to add to that other than I'll definitely be watching.
Papi, how about you? Are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. But listen, are they going to be able to play these things, or are those two tall guys still playing?
Oh, that's right. Isner and Anderson. Those human windmills are just still serving at each other on Monday. They're going to clear the courts. They're going to be there all month.
Sunday on Fox, the World Cup final, France versus Croatia.
Yes, my father's fired up about this. It is going to be over. It's been a fun month of soccer. And Croatia, I just want to throw this out there for everybody because they get to the finals. They beat England. England was so close. England was good in the first half with their young team. But in the second half, the old Croatians, all of a sudden, really strong after playing a bunch of minutes in a bunch of games. It's a little suspicious, just a little. Mina, are you intrigued?
Wow, that was reckless. England also did what England does, and I think that may be more of an explanation than Croatia suddenly having energy. In this game, however, I gotta go with France, because they got that 19-year-old kid who has more energy than the entire Croatian team put together. Might be the best player left in the tournament.
No one here for your prediction on the World Cup. They're only here for one prediction on the World Cup. Ladies and gentlemen, Papi, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. Are you all ready for my prediction?
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Here it is. And the winner is going to be... Croatia! That's right!
Croatia! Hey! Suspicious. And, they never get tired. Suspicious.
Tonight on PBS, Food Flirts.
Oh, me and Papi, you had us at food. Anytime you say food, look at him. He's making sounds. There it is. Let's check in with some pastrami eaters. What do we have here?
We've never, ever known how to make pastrami. Working that grinder was very hard. You needed big guns. Well, I felt his big guns.
I want to take you for your first slurp of ramen.
Slurp?
Slurp, 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 slurp.
Euphoria. Noodle euphoria. We love to flirt, but we're harmless.
If he had a boat, that's what it'd be called. Noodle Euphoria. Mina, are you intrigued?
There were like 4 double entendres in that trailer alone.
Yes, that's right. And look at who's fired up about it. Papi, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. Look at those are 2 very interesting ladies there, you know. I'm telling you something. They're hot, you know what I mean? They got the whole package, you know what I mean? I'm telling you, they got pastrami, they got spaghetti, you know. I don't know, you know. I'm very intrigued. See. That's all the time we have today. Thank you for watching.
Our thanks to Mina Kimes. She was a delight and never, ever fooled about anything. Talk to you on Monday.
Mayra, Danny, you got a Kleenex tissue? You got
She keeps saying she's fine. She keeps saying she's fine. Papi, way to go! You're the best! You're the best! You are the true king!
That was bad.
She is laying on the floor. She is sobbing. She's sobbing in the fetal position on the floor. The greatest triumph ever.
I feel bad about it.
No, he doesn't feel bad about it. Look at his smile on his face.
I'm a squeaky toy, and I've got one job, getting chomped on by this little ankle sniffer. So pardon me for feeling inept compared to Geico, who does so much more. Like while I'm getting slobbered on, Geico is creating cool technology like their mobile app, which lets people pay their bills or file a claim. Plus, Geico is the fastest growing auto insurer for the last 10 years. Is it too much for me to ask for one more feature? Fast and friendly claim service like Geico, maybe? Oh, great. I'm getting buried again.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.